Hi everyone, welcome back to SCM Hive. Let me ask you something before we start. Have you ever noticed that in summers, cold drink disappear from the supermarket shelf, or that your favorite restaurant is fully booked every Friday but empty on Tuesday? Do you think that just happens by accident? I think no, right? These businesses planned for it. They looked at their past data and used it to predict the future. That skill is called time series analysis. What we called time series analysis. Okay, so it sounds fancy, but I promise you by the end of this video, it will feel simple because we are going to learn it using only and only one example from the very first minute to the very last. Our example is an ice cream shop. Let's call it Scoop Shop. Okay, we will consider this as a ice cream shop and we will use this example in whole today's video. So the owner of a Scoop Shop wants to know how much ice cream should I order next month? That one question is what this whole video answers. If I will ask what is the definition of time series analysis or time series method, I will write it down for you. What is the meaning of time series? Okay. I hope many people have idea what is exactly the meaning of time series. So the time series means sales data recorded at regular intervals over time. Sales data recorded at regular intervals. Okay, sales data recorded at regular intervals over time. Now, if I will look on this word regular, what is the meaning of regular here? So the regular means same gap every time. Okay, it means same gap every time. It is that means same gap in every single time. Means it can be every day, okay, every week, every month, every quarter or every year. Okay, as long as the gap is consistent, you have a time series. So Scoop Shop example records their sales every quarter. Records their sales every quarter means quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4. So they have been doing this for 2 years. So they have a data of 8 points. Okay, as per the quarter. 2 to 4 to 6 to 8. You get it? So Scoop Shop is basically working on quarterly sales data. Look at the data carefully, okay? Starting from quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4 in year 1 and quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4 in year 2. Sales in quarter 1 is 400, quarter 2 is 600, quarter 3 is 200 and quarter 4 is 200 for year 1 and for quarter 1 in year 2 sales is 500, 700, 300 and 300. Okay, look at this data for a moment and quarter 1 and if you will see quarter 1 and quarter 2 is always high where quarter 3 and quarter 4 is always low. Is that a coincidence? I don't think so. So there is a pattern hiding in here and time series analysis is how we find it and use it. So a time series is just your sales data written down regularly over time. That is nothing more complicated than that. We just need to notice the data as per the regularly over time. Either it's week, either it's day, either it's quarter, either it's months, whatsoever. We need to notice the pattern. That is only a time series. It's just based upon the sales data. Okay, so now we will talk about the three components, and that is the big idea of this entire video. Every time series like our Scoop Shop data has three things hidden inside it. You guys are aware about it. What are the three things? Think of it like a recipe. Three ingredients mixed together. Our job is to separate those three ingredients from the recipe. Okay, so those three things which is hidden inside it is xt is equal to tt plus st plus it. So now you will see tt is it's referred to trend. Okay, st is referring seasonal and it is irregular component. So what are three components? Trend component, seasonal components and irregular component. xt you can refer the actual recorded sales number for that specific period of time. I'll repeat again, xt is referring to the actual recorded sales number for that specific period of time. These three ingredients, trend, seasonal, irregular, let me explain each one by one in a very simple way. So now I will start with the first one, which is trend. So trend is the big picture direction of your business. Okay, ignore everything else for a moment, just zoom out. Is the business going up over time, going down over time, or staying flat? That overall direction, we called it trend. Okay, for example, if it's showing like this, it means going up. Okay, if it's like that, if it's the center one, it means flat, which is stable, no change. And the next is going down. Okay, it means the business is shrinking. This means flat, stable, there is no change in the business, means nothing is growing, nothing is coming down or shrinking. And the first is going up, means business is growing. So for Scoop Shop, if you ignore the seasonal ups and downs, seasonal means like the summer season. Okay, if you will ignore the seasonal ups and downs, the overall sales are slowly growing year on year. Okay, we will take like year one average is 350 scoop per quarter, and I will write it down here. Year one average is 350 scoops. Okay, and year two, if I will consider, it will be 450 scoops per quarter. So if you will see the growth, that slow upward drift is the trend. Means if I will make the chart here, if in the year one it was like here 350, so it's hardly grow to 450, but the line is showing towards the upside. So it's showing the businesses is on the path of growing. This line is indicated that it's growing slowly, but it's growing. It's not, if it will be like this, so it is a flat. If it's going like this, it is a downward. Okay, so simple way to remember, trend is equal to the general direction of the business, like hill. Okay, are you going up the hill, down the hill, or walking flat? It's like a hill. You can keep it in the mind with the help of this example. Okay, the second we will talk about the seasonal. So seasonal is the part that repeats every single year at the same time, not random, not surprise. It is completely predictable, means every year same pattern. For example, if there is a Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, okay, in year 1, and in year 2, Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. Okay, so Q1 high, Q2 high, Q3 low, Q4 low in the year 1, and Q1 high, Q2 high, Q3 low, and Q4 low in year 2 also. So if you will see, in year 1 and year 2, in quarter 1 and quarter 2 is always high, and quarter 3 and quarter 4 is low. So for Scoop Shop, Look at the data again. Q1 and Q2 is high, Q3 and Q4 is always low. This happens every year. It's very simple pattern. Okay, why? Maybe Q1 and Q2 are the hot months in the city, peak ice cream season, whatsoever is the reason. That repeating pattern in the, we called it the seasonal component. The pattern which is repeating every year, every quarter, we called it the seasonal component. Okay, airlines do this, hotels do this, retailers do this. They knew exactly which months are their high season and low season every year because of the seasonal component. Clear? So the third ingredient is nobody can plan. Like, it is very clear from the word, right? It's irregular. After you remove the trend and the season pattern, what is left with us? The irregular component. We already consider like how much is in the trend, what is the pattern, and we already consider the season wise also. Now we have left with the irregular component. Okay, irregular you can consider like, for example, a sudden heat wave in the winter, which will of course which will impact the sales and it will go very high. Second example, you can take a power cut, close the shops for 3 days. That is very unexpected drop, right? The last, or you can consider the third one, a celebrity visited and they posted online. So for 1 week the sales spike a lot. So that is very irregular, right? We can't predict, like if I have a restaurant and somebody in some Bollywood or some, you know, celebrities coming to my restaurant and they are posting on their social website that yeah, this restaurant is good, food is good, staff is good, whatsoever reason they are mentioning, it will impact my sales at least for that particular week or that month. We don't know, but at the end it will impact and we will be, and it's not planned. We call it irregular component. Okay, these are the things we are not planning. They are not seasonal. They do not repeat every year. They are not trend. They not continue long term. They do not continue long term. They are one of the random events. That is all. And the important thing is, once you identify them, you do not mistake them for a real pattern. Real pattern will be the same. This you can consider as an additional because it is not predictable. You didn't predict for the next quarter. Remember that xt is equal to tt plus st and it. Every sales number you see is a mix of these three ingredients. Time series analysis separate them one by one and fulfilling exactly what we need to plan for the next quarter. So our next section is finding the trend. Now the practical part, how do we actually find the trend? The technique is called moving average and I am going to show you exactly how it works step by step. Simple numbers, easy steps, follow me. Here is the logic. Before we touch any numbers, we have quarterly data. Okay, one full year have 4 quarters we are considering. If I take any 4 quarters in a row, I have one from every season. Quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4. Okay, and when I average them, the seasonal high and low cancel each other out. What is left after cancelling? Just the trend. Because 1 year has 4 quarters, averaging 4 consecutive quarters is equal to 1 from each season is equal to season cancel out is equal to pure trend. That is a simple logic. Let me show you the exact calculation step by step. We have data here from quarter 1 till quarter 4 for year 1 and quarter 1 to quarter 4 for year 2. Okay, so what is the step 1? We will take our first set of 4 quarters. First set of 4 quarters, okay, and find the average. So what we will do, what is our numbers? 400 plus 600 plus 200 plus 200 is equal to 1400, which is divided by 4 and our average is 350. So this is our first step. This average sits between quarter 2 and quarter 3. Remember, this average sits between quarter 2 and quarter 3, so it is coming under 2.5 quarter, because it is not lying in quarter 2 or it is not lying in quarter 3. So the position of this is 2.5. Now we move forward by 1 quarter, means we will not consider this 400 from top. We will consider quarter 1 from year 2nd. Okay, we will move ahead. This is the first one of the position of 2.5. As I mentioned, we move forward by 1 quarter and take the next set of 4. Next set of 4 will be quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4 from year 1 and quarter 1 from year 2. So what will be our values? Our values will be 600 plus 200 plus 200 plus 500, okay, is equal to 1500 divided by 4, and the coming answer is 375. As this is lying in between quarter 3 and quarter 4, so the position is 3.5. Okay, the position is 3.5. Now if you will see, here is a small problem. So what is the problem here? Our first average sits in the position of 2.5, which is lying between Q2 and Q3, okay, and our second average is lying or sits at the position of 3.5, which is lying in Q3 and Q4. Neither one line up with the quarter 3 exactly. We can't take random number, right, for the planning or to see the trend. Like, okay, we will see, we will take 350, we will take 375. No, we can't, because it is lying in middle of these quarters. Maybe we will consider this 315 quarter 3 or 315 quarter 2. We will do some mistake to see the trend, and whatever the number we will give for the next quarter, it may be wrong. Okay, so we do one more step. We average these together. That bring us exactly to Q3, and this activity, this step, we call centering. Okay, I hope it is very clear that we can't take 2.5 and 3.5 number, the number which is in this position. We need exactly what is lying in the Q3. So we will take the average for Q3 from these two, and we call this step is centering. The third step is to find the data, to find the number under quarter 3. We call centering, means center it. What numbers we need to center it? If I will ask, 350 and 375. So what we will do, 350 plus 375, okay, divided by 2. So 350 and 375 is coming 725, and if we will divide by 2, the exact number will come to us 362.5. We will take. Okay, so 362.5 is the trend value of quarter 3. This is the exact value, means this is the average of these two, and we can consider this value in quarter 3. You get it? So this is a value without any seasonal or irregular pattern. This is only as per the trend. We repeat this process for every quarter. Move forward 1 quarter, average 4, center, write down the trend value. Do this for all 8 quarters. Okay, and you have your full trend line. Plot those numbers and you can actually see the direction of the business. Use this method only. Okay, I took data first from 400, then I took 600 to 500. You can took 200 to 700, and then 200 to 300, and then 200 to 300. You can do like that, and you can make a graph and you will see the exact difference. You can plot actually, and you can see the exact trend, the exact line of the business using this method. Our next topic is seasonality index. We have the trend value of each quarter. I find only for Q3 year 1. Rest all, please find and see what is exactly the gap. And the next question is, how much does each season deviate from that trend? Is quarter 1 is always 50% higher than trend, or is quarter 3 is 30% lower? That measurement is we call seasonality index. There is a one simple formula to find the seasonality index, is actual sales divided by the trend value. And please keep it in the mind, if your value is coming more than 1.0, this is showing the strong season, means it is above the trend. The value, if it's more than 1.0, is showing the trend, it's the trend which is above, and it is very strong season. And if the value is less than 1.0, it is below and it is reflecting weak season. So this we need to keep it in the mind when we will get our answer. We will measure from this parameter, that in which number our answer is coming, is lying in which parameter, and what is the reason, what is the mean, is it strong season or it is a weak season. So it will be very easy to find out. Let me calculate the seasonality index for you. Okay, so we will start with the seasonality index for quarter 3. If you will see, if I will calculate, I will start with the quarter 3 year 1, because I have a trend values for all. I will start from the Q3. Our formula was actual sales divided by the trend value. Okay, so Q3 actual sales was 200. It is here. So what we will do? We will do 200 divided by trend value, which is 362.5. 362.5, and the after division the answer is coming 0.55. So tell me, it is more than 1.0 or less than 1.0? And what is the mean? It is less than 1.0. So Q3 sales are only and only 55%. So what the trend predicts, it is a low season. Q3 year 1 is a low season as per our parameter. Okay, so 0.555 is telling us in Q3 we only sell 55 cents for every dollar the trend expect, and that is reflecting a low season. Now let me calculate for Q1 the same way. It's a high season, so what is the value is coming? Okay, if I will say quarter 1, okay, year 2 sales, we will find quarter 1 year 2 sales. So what is the actual number? What is the actual sales in quarter 1 year 2 is 500. Okay, so we will see 500 here, and the trend value, when you will calculate the trend value for all, hope our answers will match. Okay, if it's not matching, please mention in the comment whatever answer you are getting. I will definitely check for the same. So year 2, our trend value is 450. I will write here again 450. Okay, as per the formula, we will do a division, and the number we are getting 1.21, which is more than 1.0. It is coming 121%, means the sales, it is a strong season, and the sales, it is a strong season, and the sales is high in this season. It is very clear, right? It is visible. This is less than 0, this is less than 1.0, and this is more than 1.0. So it is very easy to analyze, okay, what is the low season and what is the high season. I hope this is clear. We do this for every single quarter in every year of data. Then we group all Q1 values together, all Q2 values together, and so on. So we take the median of each group to smooth out any one of irregular events. The result, 4 numbers, 1 per quarter, our final seasonal indices. Okay, and Those four numbers are now your planning tool. You don't need to guess anymore. The data tells you. So this is exactly how supermarkets order extra cold drinks every summers, and how toy stores stock up before Christmas seasonal indices from their own time series data with the help of this method. Our next section is seasonally adjusted series. Now this is a one more concept and it's a quick one. Imagine you want to compare Q3 sales and Q3 sales to Q4 sales. Both shows what I mentioned. Imagine you want to compare Q3 sales and Q4 sales. Either you can take year 1 or year 2, it's almost same. But Q3 has a low seasonal index of 0.55 and Q4 has a 0.52. We can consider they are in different season, so the raw comparison is not fair. To make it fair, the raw comparison means you are generally guessing, okay, it's nearby, it will not make huge impact, right? We can give a raw comparison or we can give a raw data as per our assumptions or guessing. So it is not fair, right? To make it fair, we remove the seasonal effect, and that is why, or we called it the seasonally adjusted series. Okay, here is the formula how we are calculating seasonally adjusted. Actual sales divided by the seasonal index. I will do the calculation. Okay, let me show with Scoop Shop example for Q3 year 1 calculation. Okay, now for Q3 we have the value of seasonal index which is 0.55. So we need to just put the values in the formula. What is our actual sales of Q3 in year 1? It is 200. Okay, and we need to divide it with 0.55. You know how and why 0.55 I am mentioning and how this figure came. I already explained. It came from the seasonal index which we calculated just few minutes ago. Okay, so 200 divided by 0.55, it's coming around 364. You get it? Without the seasonal peak, the true business level is just 364. If we will remove the seasonal impact, okay, we are not considering the seasonal peak, we will sell only and only 364. Our business level is just around 364 data. Now if I do the same for Q4 year 1, if I will do the same, if I'll do same for Q4 year 1, the actual sales value is 200 again. Okay, I will divide with 0.52. As I mentioned here, my trend value was 387.5 and I got 0.52 seasonal index. If I'm calculating this, I'm dividing 200 divided by 0.52, my value is coming 385, which is high comparatively Q3 1. Now if you will compare 364 versus 385, even though both quarters shows exactly how many scoops? 200, right? After removing the seasonal effect, Q4 is actually slightly stronger than Q3. That is a fair comparison. You are now seeing the true underlying business performance, not the seasonal distortion. If you will see, okay, in Q3 year 1 we sold the same value, same numbers, but when we are doing seasonal index now, there's a huge gap if you will see. So this is very important to get the clear picture. Seasonally adjusting is like removing the effect of good weather or bad weather from a cricket match. You can consider as example. Now you can fairly compare 2 innings. Our next section is making the forecast. We have done all the hard work. Now let me show you how all of this comes together to make it an actual forecast. One formula, very simple. Forecast we are finding with trend value and seasonal index. We need to do trend value multiplied by seasonal index. Okay, that is it. Trend into seasonal is your forecast. Let me use Scoop Shop to show how exactly forecasting works. We have 2 years of data. Okay, our trend has been growing by 25 scoops every single quarter. our last calculated trend value was 437. This is as per my calculation. 437.5. That value was quarter 2 and year 2. Okay, this was the last calculated trend value as per the calculations. Hope you will also get the same figure. We have value of quarter 2 from year 2 trend value, which is 437, and now we need to find Q3 year 2 trend value. So we will add 437.5 plus 25 scoops, that is equal to 462.5 is the trend value for quarter 3, and the seasonal index was 0.55 as we calculated. Okay, so forecast is trend value, we need to multiply. Trend value is 462.5 multiplied by 0.55 is equal to 254 scoops. Okay, Scoop Shop should order 254 scoops for quarter 3 in year 2. That is the number the owner takes to the supplier, not a guess, not a feeling, a number built from 2 years of their own sales data. That is the power of a time series analysis. The exact number finding with the confidence and arranging the material or procurement from the supplier. If I will go through each steps, what we did from starting. So step 1 is collecting the quarterly sales data. Okay, collecting the quarterly sales data, which is representing an XT. Okay, second step is find out the 4-point moving average. Fine, plus center it. You remember the Q3 example, right? To find the trend. So this is what T. TT you can consider. Third step is actual divided by trend. Actual sales divided by trend. Okay, to find the seasonal index. We called it, we're denoting it as a ST, and the step 4 is trend multiplied by seasonal index. Okay, to find the forecast. We did the same, right? Time series does not predict the future perfectly. It takes your past pattern and says if things continue like they have. So let me land this. We started with one question: how much ice cream should I order next month? And look at what we built to answer. Okay, so we found the trend, the direction of the business, we found the seasonal index, how each quarter behaves compared to trend. We adjusted for seasonality so we could make fair comparison, and we built a forecast, trend times seasonal index. This is time series analysis, not complicated maths, just your data telling your story. Okay, it's based upon trend, seasonals and irregular or random data required to find the time series. If this video made time series click for you, hit that like. It generally helps the channel grow. Drop a comment which step confused you most before, which is clear now. Clear is now. New to SCM Hive, subscribe right now. We make supply chain simple. One video at a time, free. Thank you so much. See you in the next video. And don't forget to download the free PPT on this topic from the website. I will mention the PPT link on the description for your reference. Okay, bye-bye.